Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Sue, and today I'll be doing my December wrap-up. If you just watched my November wrap-up, you'll probably see me wearing the same things because I'm filming these back-to-back. So for December, I read about 11 books. Many of them are graphic novels and manga since it was coming to the end of the year, and I just wanted something light to read, and it was so close to my Goodreads goal, I thought I can't just let it slip through my fingers, so yeah. Anyway, I was finishing up a book from my Read Children's Literature month of November, and that was Land of Stories, A Grim Warning by Chris Colfer. This is book 3 in the series. Yes, it is a signed copy. And this particular story is about Alex and Connor Bailey, two children who come to learn that this ancient fairy tale book that they have is sort of an access point into the actual fairy tale world, where they find out that their grandmother is the fairy godmother. And as this particular volume opens up, Alex is training to become the next fairy godmother, and her brother Connor feels like he sort of left that world behind. He's back home. Actually, he's in Germany at the, slightly into the book on a school field trip to go to this area where they have uncovered a Brothers Grimm story that was previously not known, and he's hoping to become a writer and has an interest in fairy tale writing, so he was sort of invited along for this. But when he hears this story, he realizes for what it is. It's a warning from the past, from the fairy tale world. And it imports sort of danger, an army coming to attack the fairy kingdom, and he has to find a way to let Alex know and the rest that danger is coming. There are dragons within this story. There is a really interesting reveal that I can't wait to find out what happens next with in the 4th book, so I'm actually going to be picking that one up fairly soon. I gave that one 5 stars. The next book I got was an audio book from the library. This is the 3rd book in the 68 Room series by Marianne Malone, and it is entitled The Pirate's Coin. And this features 2 6th graders named Ruthie and Jack who visited the Thorn Rooms in the Art Institute of Chicago. These actually exist. There are 68 rooms that look like little dollhouse rooms that feature a different period of time. And through a certain object, I believe it was a key, they are able to touch this key and kind of shrink down and enter into these rooms. And once they're into these rooms, finding doorways outward or windows outward, they actually lead to the world in that time period of the room that they are in. And there are, lots of adventures that they go on within these rooms, and there's lots of historical information and things that you get along with these books, and like I said, lots of adventure and interesting characters. And this 3rd book was a little slower than some of the previous ones, although there was some interesting point where Jack uncovers some information about an ancestor of his, a pirate named Jack Norfleet. And when they enter a room of the 1700s, it actually leads him to his ancestor, which he can't reveal. Hey, you're my 7, 8 times removed, whatever, ancestor. But something that happens in the past starts to affect Jack in the future. And that was really interesting in the storyline. I really enjoyed that. There's actually a 4th book out already entitled The Secret of the Key. That's just a cover of it, and I hope to get to that one pretty soon. I enjoyed this one a lot. I gave that one 4 stars. In addition to those 2 stories, I also read a YA book, audio version actually, and this was Maggie Stiefvater's 3rd book in the Raven cycle called Blue Lily, Lily Blue. I won't go into a whole lot of detail of it being the 3rd book in the series. I just felt a little bit that it was a little bit slower than the other ones. I liked the first one a lot, enough to go into the 2nd book, The Dream Thieves, I believe it was called. That one I thought was phenomenal. This one tapered off a lot more for me. I found it a bit more confusing. I would have liked it if it just kept it as a trilogy, but there is going to be another book instead. I found this one choppy in the writing and kind of confusing. I mean, there's for one instance, there's a scene where one of the characters named Adam is in the courtroom. There's going to be a trial about his father, and the next thing you know, he's in the cave, and there was no transition. What happened to the court case that never went in any detail, and suddenly he's somewhere else, and that got very confusing for me, and I kind of found that annoying. So overall, I gave that one 4 stars, but I will continue with the series because I want to know how it all wraps up. Then I've been reading the Nailbiter graphic novel series. I picked up volume 1 again. This is by many authors, stories by Joshua Williamson, but I reread volume 1 to kind of refresh my memory about it. It's about a town called Buckaroo, Oregon, where 16 serial killers have arisen from. Why all this one town? An FBI agent kind of goes there to investigate. and notifies a friend of his that he's found some information, and the next thing you know, he disappears. No one's seen him for a while, so his friend goes to find out what has happened to him, and it's that gentleman right up in there. This is volume 2, entitled Bloody Hands. Again, this was the first one I gave 5 stars to. This one I knocked it down to about 4 because I didn't like this part where they introduced this one character. His name is Brian Michael Bendis. He's actually a real life person. He's a comic book writer, and he shows up in this comic book. So I found that a little jarring, a little strange. But there are a lot of interesting facts within this book, a lot of interesting things and characters that come up. So one character with these bees is totally nuts. But it's a very dark, creepy story. If you're into serial killers and that kind of thing and what makes them tick, you'll definitely like this series and kind of horror stories like that. I've picked up again also volume 3, which is Blood in the Water, and this one just got right back up there to 5 stars. Really intriguing. We're kind of down in the depths of Buckaroo and finding out a little bit more about what makes it tick. So can't wait for the next volume of that one. I read volume 6 of Ajin Demihuman by Kaiman Sakurai. It's a manga. Demihumans are basically people that can't die. Our main character, Kai, is a young man. He's studying to become a doctor. He hopes to enter into medical school and stuff, and then he's hit by a truck and parked to flying, and then he gets up. And then that's the first time he realizes he's not entirely human. He's a demi-human, and now he's on the run. People are chasing after him. People want to experiment on these demi-humans. They're worth money if you capture them and turn them in, and there's a whole group kind of trying to track them down. But there's also a group of demi-humans that are kind of ganging up against humanity. They want a world just of demi-humans, and they're equally bad. So our main character sort of finding himself in the middle and trying to choose sides. And as much as he's against these evil kind of demi-humans, he's also sort of losing his humanity, I think, in this one. I can see him sort of slipping away, or the way he reacts to people, or the way he reacts to his friends, or saying he doesn't need help, and you can't let your heart guide you, and it's just, yeah, he's sort of losing touch with humanity a little bit. This particular volume also reveals some information about a female demi-human within the storyline called Izumi, and we find out how her character came to be and in the position that she's in at this moment. So that was really interesting, really revealing, and I gave that one 4 stars too. Can't wait for the next one. Another kind of ghoulish, creepy manga is Tokyo Ghoul. This is volume 3 by Sui Ishida. We have a main character, Ken Kaneki. He's a college student, and he's out with this one girl where there's turns out to be a ghoul, someone who eats human flesh, and she tries to attack him, and at that moment they're both injured seriously in an accident. The ghoul is killed, and he nearly dies, but the surgeon at the last minute, in order to save Ken's life, takes the body parts, the organs needed from the dead ghoul, and implants them into the boy, not realizing he's just transplanted ghoul parts into a human. Now Ken finds himself craving human flesh, and he has sort of hooked up with a group of ghouls that try to live humanely as much as possible, but he still has that craving for human flesh, like all the ghouls do. But it doesn't go out. They don't go out and attack humans, although there are some ghouls that do. So there's a group that are trying to hunt down and kill off ghouls, and our main character is sort of, trying to continue living, but staying underground and keeping away from these people, these agents. This particular one, there's a young ghoul named Hanami who's sort of being hunted, and our friend Ken here is going to be pushed to his limits in order to try and protect her. He's learning to kind of embrace his ghoul side and the abilities that he has. There's lots of fight scenes in this one, made it more interesting as to what these characters can do. So this one I gave 5 stars to, and the 4th volume is out, which I'll be hauling pretty soon. And then finishing out the month, I pretty much just read like 4 volumes of the One Piece manga by Ichiro Oda. I read volumes 3, 4, 5, and 6, and it's just about this pirate, Monkey D. Luffy, who wants to become the greatest pirate to sail the seas and find this secret treasure called One Piece, which is the greatest treasure ever, and he's slowly building up his crew. Just a really funny, great, enjoyable series, lighthearted. I love all the characters in it, and it just keeps adding more and more, trying to keep them all, you know, in my head, but it's definitely a lot of fun, and if you're looking for like a lighthearted, good manga to start with, I think this is a really good one. Give all of these 5 stars. So that is my wrap-up for December. Probably the next video will be some kind of year-end wrap-up or resolution video, depending on which one I post next. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for being with me this whole year and commenting down below, and I've really enjoyed it and look forward to another great year. Thanks. Bye-bye.